Hi everyone, really good to see you again today. Where are we today? We're in the heart of London, we're at Bank. And this door behind me, that leads into the Bank of England. I may well need to break in here in a minute because I'm going to go to one of your recommendations. Not one of you, there must have been 50, 60 of you who said, Gary, you've got to give this restaurant a try. Now, interestingly, it is the most expensive restaurant I've ever done on the channel. That's why probably 50 or 60 of you kind of recommended it. Where am I going? I'm going over here to the Ned. Now I can already tell you, it started off at £50 for the buffet here at the Ned, then went up to 65, now it's £100. £100 for the buffet. Now I've actually done an expensive buffet on the channel. I've done it at the Glass House and that was up in Watford, and I think that was about 65, 68 pound I think it was. This building behind me, this used to be the old Midlands Bank. Looks like I'm going to break the bank. As always, let's give it a go. And I've seen the guy coming up on the push bike, so I'm not going to leg it across the road, but I am now. Okay. Bit of a problem on this one, guys. Just been inside. I'm telling you, I've never been in somewhere as loud. It is packed, and I mean absolutely packed in there, but there's music on in the background, barely hear yourself think. So may have to try a different format here. Come on then. Not good. Here we are inside. I've got to say, this is vast. It is massive. There's not just one restaurant here, there's quite a few different restaurants. I'm up here, I've got the buffet in front of me. It's actually, the buffet's around a bar. And I've had a quick look and you've got a whole range of salads, then you go on to lobster, you go on to prawns, some shellfish there as well, oysters. And then as you move around, then you have your roast dinners, and then a bit further around you have your desserts. Now, buffet-wise, it's not the biggest buffet I've ever seen. The other thing I've got to tell you is there's some people singing away in the background. It is incredibly busy in here. I'm talking every table is fully booked. Now, you've got to bear in mind, the price here originally started off at £50, then went up to £65, then increased to £100. I mean, it's still absolutely packed. Scary thing is they can make it £200. I still think it would be busy. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go up and I'm going to get myself a little bit of a range of salads and a couple of oysters, I think, and definitely diving into the lobster. The other thing is, you get a complimentary glass of Prosecco. So, cheers. Well, for £100, you would expect a complimentary glass. Also got ourselves some water as well. Just an indicator here, if you do come in here and you want a glass of Prosecco, it's £10. And again, I'm looking at the gins here. The gins are £13, so just an indicator on price. Really lively, the place is packed. Okay, I'm gonna go up and I'll see you guys shortly. Woo, got to make my money's worth here, haven't I? So yeah, bit of a problem. If you take a look at that clip, you can see how loud it was. One thing I've got to tell you, music banging away in the background. The place was absolutely packed, and I've got to tell you, it's a vast place. It was really busy, a major hum going on from all different restaurants, different parts. There's a few bars there as well. So altogether, that noise and the noise from the band, oh, you could barely hear yourself think. And that was one of the problems there. You know, when I go into a restaurant, I was trying to have a conversation with the cameraman. We were shouting at each other. And in the end, it was like, we can't hear each other. That's literally the way it was. What can I say about the hotel, the restaurant, the Ned? The staff, they were really attentive. No issue with the staffing. I thought the setting was fantastic. Again, I've got some noise going on behind me again now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through it station by station, which is not the ideal way because obviously I like to tuck in and sort of say, yeah, what I think of each dish. But got loads of images, so no problem at all. Absolutely no problem. And I'll describe everything as we go along. Not ideal, I know, but under the circumstances, kind of the best I can do. So my apologies. So this is a bit of a tale of the good, the bad, the ugly, and the not so good. Let's start off with the salad selection. This was the good. So I had the deviled eggs. Nice little kick off them deviled eggs. Then you had the avocado with toast. That wasn't completely exciting, was it? It was just a bit of avocado on toast, but it was nice. The avocado was quite fresh. Then you had a range of salads. So you had all the different salads. I had the Caesar salad. My only criticism on the Caesar salad, there was an awful lot of dressing on there. But again, the lettuce, that was nice and crunchy. All together, that wasn't too bad. I also had potatoes there with bruschetta. Like them. I did really like the potatoes with bruschetta. Now, I went for the poached salmon. Now, you could have fresh salmon, you had poached salmon, you had prawns, you had the big tiger prawns as well in the shells. So you had a good choice. I actually went for the poached salmon. That was cooked perfectly. Really enjoyed it. Full of flavour. All it was cooked exactly as you want it. Exactly. The salmon melted in your mouth. I do like my poached salmon. In fact, that's the way I prefer my salmon all the time. So altogether, that gets a thumbs up for me. Now onto the cold meats. What I do like, Serrano ham. Now Serrano ham's my favourite. Obviously I worked in Spain. If you looked at the Q&A, then I explained to you that I did work out in Spain for a while. Really do like my Serrano ham. And I'm going to tell you, that was quality. That was real quality, and it had a real good range of different hams there as well. So if you're into your cold meats, absolutely no issue there. As a selection, as a full selection that was on there, I can have no complaints. There's something there, if you want a bit of salad, there's something there for everyone. Artichokes, chicory, you name it, it was all there. So range, choice, quality, that's the key here, and that's the main key. Quality, bang, spot on. Then it starts taking a little bit of a dip onto the lobster. You saw that mound of lobsters. Bang. Now you've got to bear in mind, you go up and have it as many times as you want. So you're like, right, I'm really mad about my lobster. I want 3, 4, 5 whole lobsters. Just go up there. That's what you can have. That's no issue at all. And again, they provide the utensils, so you crack open the claws so you get all the meat out, and that's what I did. So cracked it open, and I've got to say, I thought I did a splendid job. Now, the lobster itself is boiled, and what I found was it lacked some flavour. It was a little bit on the tough side as well, so I think it was overcooked. It had a sweetness in there, but overall, that was a bit of a disappointment. So I went back again. I tried another one, and unfortunately, I found that exactly the same. Bless you. I found that exactly the same. So all in all, that was a bit of a disappointment. Then you have the oysters. Now I do like my oysters. Not sure they agree with me all the time. I'll tell you a bit later on. So again, you had the oysters. I thought the presentation was excellent. So you had it all there. It was presented on ice, as many as you wanted. Now I kept an eye, and I was like, let's just see how quickly they sort of replenish. And again, as they were going down, bang, they rotated it perfectly. So attention to detail is really good, because obviously oysters, they can be a little bit of a comeback on them, couldn't they? Now I had the oyster. Now the way I eat my oyster, I put it down, one little bite, then swallow. And you have all the freshness of the sea coming out, the liquor from the oyster, and that's correct, by the way, it's called liquor. The liquor from the oyster, that was good. So I had the good and the ugly at the same time. The lobster didn't hit the mark, and it just didn't quite hit the mark. So if you like, the main star of why it makes it so different is the lobster. However, boiled, slightly overdone, that was disappointing. Now comes to the ugly, the roast dinner. And I tell you, it starts with the actual roast itself. You had a choice of 3. You could have chicken, you could have pork, which was rolled pork, and you could have beef. Now, the issue that I had with the beef was illustrated perfectly with the lady who was standing next to me, because the chap was there and he was carving it. By the way, he was fantastic, a really nice guy. And she took one look at the beef. She goes, is there any chance of having the beef a little bit more done? And he said, no, that's what we've got available. So she said, okay, I'll just have a little piece of chicken. So off she took. So I was there, had a look. Now, if you follow the channel, you know I don't mind my steak medium rare. I don't mind it rare. Took one look at the beef. I was like, ooh, that thing's still moving. So I said to him, yeah, just slightly, cut me off one slice of that beef there, please. I said, that is very rare. He said, yep, that's the way we do it. I was like, right, okay. So bang. For an awful lot of people, that's one choice completely gone, because an awful lot of people can't eat their meat that rare. Bearing in mind, even from my point of view, I don't mind rare, but I was like, whew, that is, as far as I'm concerned, a little bit too far. Then I had the pork. I did like the crackling around it. It was rolled pork, but the pork was super fatty. Now, please don't turn around to me and say, Gary, of course pork's fatty. I know that. But this had, you kind of, with rolled pork, you have the content of the meat, and then you have the fat, and there's only going to be a small slither of fat, and then more meat and some more fat. This was like equilateral, so the pork and the fat almost went hand in hand. The star of it was the crackling. So I really enjoyed that crackling. But choice and range, and again, are you going to a carvery, and a high-class in carvery, and saying I'll have chicken? Because that's not for me. I'm not going there for a chicken. I mean, you know, I'm paying £100, so I don't want chicken. I want something. So the range, that was very limited. So if you had a basic choice in the end. If you don't like your meat rare, you had a choice of pork. And if you don't like fatty pork, then you're stuck. You've got chicken. I then got some stuffing. That was very dry. Had to put lots of gravy into the stuffing to actually bring that out. The pigs in blanket, funny enough, that's the only thing that really worked. Nice saltiness with the bacon that was around the sausage, and it was a quality sausage. So that was excellent. Then we come to the roast potatoes, the star, the absolute star. I was like, right, okay, nice golden colour. They look really good. Yeah, I'm into this. And then got them on the plate, cut in. A couple of them were rock hard. Not rock hard, but hard. Then the other one was too soft. I was like, hang on, that's a bit strange. Now, that's clearly where they've been sitting under the heated lamps. And yeah, I'd imagine if you, again, it's about timing, isn't it? If you'd just come out and they've just been out, that would have been perfect. Then I had the root vegetables. So you had the parsnips in there, the carrots in there. They tasted really good. And I was like, yeah, thumbs up. The only problem was they were cold. Cauliflower cheese. I love the flavour of the cheese with the cauliflower cheese. Only problem was the cauliflower, I needed to be done that bit more. And I do like a little crunch with my vegetables. This was like a little bit too far the other way as well. Gravy, perfect. I love the consistency of the gravy. I love the flavour of the gravy. Only one problem. I was up here getting the ladle. Up and then spilt it on myself. Okay, spilt it out, and it was hot. So it was like, oh, blimey. So again, I think that's a little bit dangerous. They need to take a look at that, because if I'm 5'10", if you're a little bit smaller, you're going to have problems there, because I have problems myself. Overall, was it a disappointment? Yes. And I'll tell you what, I was sitting there, I was like, do you know what? I've been to Toby Carvery and had better. I've been to Toby Carvery and I think I've had better. You know, well, oh, hang on. The star of the absolute star is the Yorkshire pudding, isn't it? It was burnt. It was crisp. Not like good crisp. It was just burnt. So I thought, hang on, is it just me? You know, am I wandering around with my eyes closed? Went back up, had a quick look. All of them looked exactly the same, all burnt. I was like, no, this is not acceptable. So from my end, I've been to Toby Carvery, as I said, and I've had better. Okay, quality levels, yeah, they are totally different, aren't they? But this was a disappointment, and I've got to say, this is what you're coming here for. You're coming here because it is up there, lobster. Ooh, here we go. Then it is the best roast dinner you're going to have. This wasn't. Then on to one of my favourite things of all time, cheese. And I thought, hang on, I need to cheer myself up after that roast dinner, because normally I have my cheese last, and I like to have that with a glass of port. By the way, complimentary glass of Prosecco, so thumbs up. I didn't mention that in the beginning. So that for £110, yeah, should be complimentary. The only thing I found was I had a choice of 3 cheeses. I had Camembert, I had Stilton, and I had cheddar. That was it. So choice of 3, had some chutney, and a basic range there of crackers. And I was like, a little bit disappointing. Nothing wrong. Wasn't the best Stilton, wasn't the worst. Actually, the Camembert was quite good. The cheddar, that being out for too long, you know, they cut it all very, very thin, and that was dry. So as you look at the cheese range, one, the range was very poor, and 2, what was there didn't really blow me away. Okay, the Camembert was good, but it didn't blow me away. It's kind of like, you know, I've had better elsewhere, cheaper. And on to the desserts. Now, when I went to the Glass House, most of their desserts were made in-house, and what a range. That was an awesomely good range. This, again, I found a little bit basic. Had a lollipop, had a bit of Eton mess. In fairness, the Eton mess went well with the roast dinner, didn't it? So I had an Eton mess. You had some cheesecakes there, other cakes, Victoria sponges, a little bit of fruit salad. And again, you come to the end of the meal, it's kind of like, oh, I've had a good meal. Let's get going with a great dessert. And if you have not the great meal, you think, well, I've got the dessert to look forward to. I actually had a buffet, and the only thing that was any good in the buffet was the desserts. In fairness, they weren't as good as these desserts. These were a little bit better. But I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, has the desserts blown me away? No, they haven't. Well, anything wrong with any of them? No way. But nothing there stood out as, well, that's the wow factor. Eton mess, that was fine. So all in all, what do you think? Now comes the terrifying bit. It's a little bit hot. The bill for my public feast was £100. I had a bottle of still water, that was £5. As I said to you, the Prosecco, that was complimentary. You didn't have to Prosecco, you could add white wine, you could add red wine or soft drinks, so that was that. So a total of £119.17. Hold on, I know it's dirty. Even I need to lie down. Oh, no I don't. That is incredibly expensive. Now you've got to bear in mind, it is the Ned, okay? That's number one. Number two, location. The Bank of England is literally opposite. So it is in the heart of London. Its reputation goes before it. It's a 5-star hotel. It's got, I think, 5 other locations throughout the whole of the world. It is highly recognised, but I've got to tell you, this isn't good enough. I don't think the selection was good enough. I don't think what was offered was good enough. And that, by mean, is offered. But when you're offered only 2 or 3 meats, but a chicken, a very rare beef and a pork roll, and your main Sunday roast, you're a little bit like handcuffed there. You know, I think that only offering them 3, and if you like, I think only 2 of them really were worthy of even consideration. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 10. I think it's overhyped. There's no doubt it is ram-packed. It is super popular. There is a lot of people in there. Bang, you're allowed in there for 2 hours. 2 hours max, and they make it very clear to you, we want this table back off you at 7 o'clock, sir. You know, I win at 5 o'clock. We want it back at 7 o'clock. Yeah, no problem. Have it back at 7. Yeah, great, no problem. So you've got 2 hours to make the most of your £100. 2 hours. It's more than that because obviously you've got the service charge as well. I go back to the Glass House. That was unlimited time. It was cheaper. It was a better selection. It was better quality. So all in all, if I was comparing the 2, okay, and both of them are 5-star hotels, both of them are up there, 5-star hotels. You have one up there, okay, and you have one down here. And that's the way I feel. Now, I'd love to hear your comments. Have you been to the Ned? Am I being too harsh? I genuinely think I'm being a little bit generous at times here. I think I'm being generous. The big difference having lobster and some oysters. That's the only difference from that being a normal carvery, if you like. Now, if you don't like lobster and oysters, then you're paying £100 for a roast dinner, basically. Yeah, as I say, love to hear your comments. Me, I'm really disappointed. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you know I always appreciate that. And until next time, I am full up though. There's one thing I have got to say, so I won't be going for somewhere else something to eat. Until next time, bye-bye. Stop raining as well.